before Assassin's Creed, Ubisoft made Prince of Persia, and for some odd reason, I had never played it. That's what we're going to talk about today on First Time Classics, Prince of Persia, Sands of Time.
Yes.
So this is a game that you wanted me to play, so let's talk about your history with it.
So, okay, I bought this game for the GameCube back in the day, and it was just so good. To me, just as a kid, playing this game was so much fun. You know, any game when you get to, like, run on walls, you know, and just solve these puzzles by doing so was just like, you know, the whole idea, I don't know what it was. Maybe, too, it had the whole, you know, time aspect in it where you get to rewind. So if you messed up, and like, oh, okay, let me just retry it, you know, and just do it again. But
they had advertised the heck out of this game back in the day, and it was one that I can remember the commercials even for the first one, not so much the second or third one. But no, like, it was a big game. In terms of why I never played it, I'm not really sure. Considering as someone, I have played that era in particular was when, you know, all we had was gaming, so I had played so many games. I have no idea how I missed it, kind of thing. But I have now played it.
See, for me, it was just one of those. It was a great adventure when I was young. I don't know what got me into it or how we found it. I think my brother just kind of bought it or something like that, and we just kind of got into it. But it was, for me, one of the just a little hidden dimes that he found that just became like one of my favorite games growing up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can see why, kind of thing. So to hop right into it, so. It's a third-person-ish, because you can move the camera, puzzle combat game. So I guess that's kind of the first place I kind of started was I had always thought this game was more combat-heavy. Maybe the later ones are. Maybe I just don't know. But I was kind of surprised at how much puzzle versus combat there was. And I'm actually okay with it because we'll get to the combat in a little bit. I'm not a huge fan. But the puzzles I actually really liked. That aspect of it was... It was... I don't want to say it was forward-thinking, but considering how old this game I'm kind of surprised at how much I like the puzzles of it. I think it only has a couple tricks, you know, like you can only tease me running on the wall so many times before I'm like, okay, I got it kind of thing. But no, I enjoyed, my favorite thing was being in the air and then having to figure out where to go. That's kind of those are the puzzles I enjoyed the most.
See, the puzzles are definitely the main aspect of that game, and how they just work. Like, again, you're in this big palace, and you're finding your way through this big palace by making these, or, you know, completing these puzzles. Mm-hmm. And we're talking about puzzles that are like, you're in a big hall, you know, like a big open space library hall or something like that, and you got to find your way to the top to go back all the way to the bottom, you know, to flip a switch or something like that. But in some ways, they do tell you kind of straight out like how to do these puzzles,
right?
And that's kind of lackluster there. I wish it gave you more of the aspect, right? You walk in, now you just need to know and just learn how to do this, you know. But like, it's just one of those moments where you felt like you traversed through the whole room, and like it's a sense of accomplishment once you achieve that goal.
Well, and to sort of pivot into two different things. I think we talked about this. I think it was Assassin's Creed Brotherhood. Had those, I think they just called them dungeons, but it was basically that idea. It was a big open room you went in. Those were, in that entire series, those are one of the things that stick out in my mind, and I'm still like, I don't know, I'm still surprised how much Assassin's Creed is in this game, or in vice versa, how much Prince of Persia is in Assassin's Creed, because this is obviously derived from it. And there had been rumors about that for a long time, that Assassin's Creed started out as a Prince of Persia game and stuff like that, and I think it's fair to say it definitely did, now playing this kind of thing. But I was surprised how much of Assassin's Creed is still in this game, and you can feel it. And that kind of transitions right into the combat, which is very Assassin's Creed, right down to the counter system and everything. I'm curious how the second one and third one in this series play compared to the other ones. But no, if there's an issue that I had, it was the combat. I don't love it. It's fine. It's serviceable. It's the word that comes to mind is functional. Like it works, and you can have the vibe of, you know, it doesn't quite have the timing system the way that you know, the modern Batmans and all those games have that Assassin's Creed does, but it's similar. But to me, it feels like they really liked the idea that you could jump over somebody. Like, and they thought that was the coolest thing ever.
It is.
And you do it once, but
just think, whatever game you play, like whether you could just jump over someone and stab them, or, you know,
sure,
you know, it's just
and it's cool the first,
and all the camera angles that change when you do it sometimes.
Sure, it's cool the first 50 times, but after that I got kind of.
You never felt satisfied when you jumped over someone and you did the retrieve sand move, and you're like, he stabs into them. You're like,
the retrieving of the sand is probably my biggest thing. like, you have to do it on every enemy.
Yeah.
Like, every single enemy.
That's the concept of the story, though. Like,
sure,
that's how you build your sand tanks.
I wish it was more of a, I could choose kind of thing. Like, if I needed sand, I could get it. You know, if that way, because it's not a short thing either. Like, it's a good 3-4 seconds of him, like, waiting, and it's fine. But and then the other issue is some of those combat scenarios are way too long. Like,
I agree. Yeah. It's a lot of I don't remember the battles being dragged out as long as they are in that game. You know, like I didn't remember. One thing I noticed that you didn't do that I did a lot though. Like, I love jumping off the walls in that game.
Yeah, so, I kind of forgot you could do that, and every once in a while I would do it on accident.
There's a move where you can do like a spin twirly move where you just like, you know, corkscrew right off the wall, and it knocks down a lot of enemies pretty quickly too. You know, so each time I'm just like hoping you would do it, you know, because I just, as a kid, I thought it was so cool.
No, and it's got a lot of flash in a good way. You feel cool playing it, and I think I like that you can press, I guess on the Xbox it would have been the white or black button, but on this version it's the bumpers, and you get that sort of, it's not isometric, but a zoomed out view. I feel like they could have taken more advantage of that, especially in the combat scenarios, because I feel like sometimes the camera was kind of my biggest issue, because especially in the later game, when the tougher enemies surround you kind of thing, it can be, the camera just isn't working. Like, I don't know how else to say it. It just doesn't do what I want it to do kind of thing. And the last part on the combat is, when you get knocked down, this game can die. I hate it. I hate it so much because
it traps you in a cycle,
right? Which you can make the argument, be patient kind of thing,
or just rewind time.
I suppose. I don't know. It's tough. But my biggest thing is that when you're on the ground, I think it's super interesting that they even thought about that. Like, they clearly thought about when you're on the ground, they don't want you to just be able to get back up. Like, they want you to kind of pick your moment. You can block and all that stuff. But the way that the AI works is, like, they just get in a cycle. Like, they just surround you, and then they all just take their turn, like, one by one. And it's like, there's times where literally a minute or two, I could not get up, because if I would have get up, I would have gotten hit, and that's frustrating. But I think it's super interesting that they decided to do that, because I can't think of any other game that ever really has played with the fact that when you get knocked down, they actually want you to think about it. I think one of the Assassin's Creed, you could like throw sand when you got up or something, but I don't know. To me, that's a cool thing. I'm wondering if the sequels do anything with it, but there needed to be, they needed to program something to where the AI just wasn't so aggressive at that point, because they basically just surround you and they bum rush you.
Yeah, and like there's not like a pause at all.
No,
no. Like they get in a cycle. Like, I don't know if it's just perfect timing where,
maybe,
if there's two, one will hit you and then the other one will swing, and like a second later they just kind of go back and forth.
Right.
One other mechanic we didn't talk about yet, though. Did you like the sand feature, or all the abilities that you could do? Did that change the way that you played your battles, or how you solve things?
I mean, the only one that comes to mind is the forward Y, which basically like stuns them with sand. They kind of freeze, and then you can they're an easy kill for the most part. That's the only thing I really use. I mean, obviously the rewind, but I didn't really use that in combat unless I got killed, kind of thing.
No, because in combat, really the other options that you have that where you stab and you can like do a cut, instant kill kind of thing. You can slow time. You can do slow motion.
Yeah, I didn't really find a purpose for it.
I never, you know what? As a kid playing this game, I really never had a purpose for it either. Yeah. I think sometimes I did it on those traps where they have like rotating like pillars with blades on them, and just trying to, get weaving through at the right time. The fast forward was probably my favorite one. Where
there's a fast forward?
Well, no, when you hit your triggers.
I got you. Okay.
And then you can like kill 10 enemies at once, because you just zip through, and just more visually, like I thought it was like really cool when I was young.
That's a very cool thing, but as the game progresses, it gets harder to do, because your sand meter has to be full, and your, I don't know what they call it, the white meter has to be full too, which is kind of strange. Like, it's weird that it forces you to have full everything when they just keep giving you more. But yeah, anytime I used it was extremely helpful.
At the end of the game, I guess spoiler, you lose your dagger, and you have to go through a trial of, going through a puzzle without rewinding. Did you feel like the dagger a time was like a clutch at some point? Did you feel like that was very difficult doing that without the dagger? Or?
No, mainly because your sword is a one-hit kill at that point.
Yes.
So that wasn't a huge issue. The only thing I found annoying is the checkpoints weren't great. So when I did, I jumped off something, etc., didn't think about whatever performed it wrong. That was annoying because I couldn't just rewind time kind of thing. But I think that's just a holdover from how old the game is kind of thing.
True.
But no, I think that moment was kind of cool because it sort of takes the handles off, or the training wheels, not handles, and just lets you basically be I don't want to say a god, but you become super powerful. And that was kind of cool because, like I said, the combat to me was the weakest part. So being able to sort of just walk through it at that point, I was pretty excited. I was like, okay, finally I can just be done with this kind of thing. So, and whoever decided to attack you whenever you're with bats and birds and all that when you're walking, no, don't do that. That's super annoying.
It's a puzzle.
It's super annoying.
You're on a ledge. They want to give you the feel of
the puzzles are the best part, and the fact that you actively want me to stop and just attack these bats. I'm like, stop, just stop, just let me do the puzzle, okay? But no, overall, it's a cool game. I enjoyed it. I think, from what I understand, I could be wrong, that this is kind of the best of those three games. So it's hard.
Played the others.
Yeah, it's hard to say. That's one that I think I kind of want to look up a playthrough. I don't think I want to try to track it down and try to play it, kind of thing. Maybe I will. Who knows? But I'm interested to see how the other two are, kind of thing, just because I'd be interested to see how that series progressed, sort of thing. And the only other thing that we've got in the notes here is the 360 back compat version sucks.
Wow.
Yeah, so I actually started this game. Yeah, I started this game on the 360 using the backwards compatible, and it didn't really become a problem until the first boss fight. But anytime there's more than 3 enemies on screen, the frame rate crawls single digit thing, and somehow I swear I looked it up that this game was not compatible on Xbox One X. But not only is it on Xbox One X, it's enhanced, so it looks significantly better as well.
It did.
So the Xbox One X version's solid. It looks better, and the frame rate's fine. It's completely fine, kind of thing. So, but no, yeah, overall, it's cool. I see why so many people like it. I think it is a product of its time. I think the combat doesn't hold up, but the overall design and the puzzles do.
You can see how much it definitely influences the Assassin's Creed games.
Yeah, to me that's sort of the biggest thing. I'm just wow, this game really, Assassin's Creed really was a Prince of Persia game.
Seriously.
So yeah, and me having I'm sure to a lot of people are like, well, duh, but I had never played it, kind of thing. So it kind of blows my mind just how much it is like that.
Exactly.
So. But all right, that's gonna do it for this episode. I don't think we have a docket for the next game. I might make this guy play Doom 2, but whatever. If you have any suggestions, let us know in the comments. Hit that like and subscribe button. It really helps us out, and we'll see you next time.